What's going on, guys? It's ETA Prime back here again. Today I'm going to review the all-new Arcade1up Street Fighter Edition 3/4 scale miniature arcade cabinet. So if you're watching this video, you probably already know what these Arcade1up cabinets are. If not, I'm going to leave a link to their website in the description. You can choose between 4 different models. Now I got the Street Fighter one. It's $2.99 at GameStop or Walmart and a few other stores online. If you're interested in the technical aspects of this unit, I recently did a video. Link is in the description. I went ahead and tore down the board, figured out exactly what CPU this thing's running. It turns out it's an all-winner, single-core, 1 GHz CPU. And as for RAM, we're not exactly sure because all of the chips were etched off. It's either 256 megabytes or 512 megabytes of RAM. By no means is this a super-powered arcade machine, but it will play what it's intended to perfectly. These cabinets do not come pre-assembled. You will have to put it together when you get it to the house, but it's really easy. I did this one in 35 minutes following the instruction manual that's included. If you don't want to follow the manual, you can check out their YouTube channel. They have online instructions for assembly. I love the design of the cabinet, and the vinyls that come pre-installed look really good. I did have a couple little scratches on one side, but it's definitely not their fault. I'm sure some people are going to end up with some damaged units. Shipping these things around the country isn't easy. So obviously the vinyls are made to look like the original Street Fighter II Champion Edition arcade cabinet, and they did a really good job recreating it. On the kick panel below, we get logos for each of the games that are pre-installed on this unit. We have Street Fighter II Champion Edition, Super Street Fighter II, the new Challengers, and Super Street Fighter II Turbo. If you're expecting a giant arcade, this is definitely not for you. This is my 7-year-old daughter and my 4-year-old son. He's a big 4-year-old, but it's the perfect size for them, and I actually have a couple 16-inch stools that might be a little too tall depending on how tall you are, so you might want to go with something a little shorter, or you can buy one of their risers. Height of the unit is 46 inches. From the floor to the top of the control panel is 25. Kind of wish the control panel was a little bit higher, but I can deal with this. The whole cabinet is constructed of MDF. There are several sizes on here, but the sides and the support beams inside are 1/2 inch. The kick panel is 1/4 inch all the way down. The screen is a 17-inch LCD 1280 by 1024 resolution. Moving on to the control panel. Now this has been a real hot topic. Everybody wants to know how the buttons and sticks feel. But before I even start talking about this, I know it's a sensitive subject. I'm very familiar with buttons and sticks. This is all personal preference here, guys. If you don't like HAP, you don't have to use it. You can use Sanwa, you can use Famitsu, you can use eBay, you can use Amazon. There's bad Chinese stuff, there's good Chinese stuff out there. Now these are just some of the sticks I own. I got some Sanwas and a lot of them. I have a bunch of HAPs and some Famitsus. I also have 3 bar top arcade machines. One has HAPs, one has Famitsu, and one has Sanwa in it. There are other companies out there. There's more expensive stuff, there's cheaper stuff, but I prefer using HAP or Sanwa. That's just my personal opinion. You might like using something totally different because you like the way it feels and the way it plays. With that out of the way, these buttons and sticks aren't all that bad. Now they do feel a little cheaper than more expensive stuff, but they will get the job done. And these are all standard size holes, so you can upgrade to pretty much anything you want to. Everything is soldered to each button, so you will have to desolder it, but you can upgrade it if you want. I look at this machine as a toy. It's not a professional arcade machine, and I didn't expect it to come with top of the line buttons. They feel great for what you're getting. You can upgrade down the road, but you totally do not need to upgrade. You will get used to using these and pulling off special moves. It might take you a few tries, but you can get used to it. I went ahead and pulled the control panel apart. There is a plastic cover that covers everything up. As you can see, we get one speaker, our encoder, and all of our buttons and sticks. Everything's clearly marked. If you ever just want to rip all these buttons out and go ahead and put some new stuff in here, it'll be very easy to rewire it. Here's a quick comparison of the Arcade1up stick on the left and a real Sanwa stick on the right. Just looking at them, I can tell that the Sanwa is going to cost more money. Did a quick teardown on one of the buttons just to show you the micro switch inside of here. It is a micro switch. It's definitely a cheaper one, but when it's activated, and the button's going to do what it was meant to do. Before I get into some gameplay and my final thoughts, I just want to do a quick comparison between my other 3/4 scale arcade machine from Rec Room Masters. On the left is known as the Alphacade. It retails for $349 plus shipping, but it does not come with a monitor or a computer. You can either throw a Raspberry Pi inside of it, a JAMA box, or a PC. I opted for a PC and I'm running big box. It's definitely a do-it-yourself machine. You will need to know what you're doing to get something like this up and running. I have made a few videos on it. If you want to check out more, I'll leave links in the description. First off, the Alphacade is much more sturdier. It's made out of a thicker material. You will be able to install a bigger screen in here. I have a 19-inch television. It's got speakers built in and it sounds great. The big thing between the two is the arcade panel size. 2 grown adults on the Arcade1up will bump shoulders. Now the Alphacade is a bit wider and it's a little more comfortable. I wish they would have went a little wider on the Arcade1up, at least just the control panel, because when I'm player 1 and I have my hand on the joystick, my palm is actually hanging off of the machine. On the Alphacade, I have plenty of support. Time to see how this thing performs. We have a power button and we also have a volume switch. There's off, medium, and high volume. I'm going to leave it on medium here. It's a single speaker setup. It sounds pretty decent for what it is. I mean, it's not bad at all. Get this nice little boot animation. And it'll bring us right into the interface. As for the games, we have Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition, Super Street Fighter 2, the new challengers, and Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. I'm just going to go down the list. It's going to give us a little button layout here. And we're booted up, ready to play. So I'm not sure how my camera's picking this screen up, but it looks pretty good. I mean, it's not retro. There's no scan lines or anything like that. It's a modern 17-inch LCD display at 1280 by 1024. So I have missed a couple special moves here, but I'm going to keep going. Like I said, you do need to get used to this if you've been playing on something else. I missed a couple, but I was able to pull off 3 in a row. Not bad.
Round 2, fight.
So if you want to exit a game and go back into the menu, just hold both player 1 and player 2 buttons for about 5 seconds. If you just want to restart the game you're playing, hold player 2 for 5 seconds. So bring us back into the menu, on to Super Street Fighter 2. Now it's time for Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. So overall, all three games perform very well on this unit. You can get used to the sticks and buttons. They're not top of the line, but they are usable. So the final question, is it worth the money? They're going for $299 right now. You can pre-order them from like GameStop, Walmart, Bed Bath & Beyond, and there's a few other stores. It really comes down to who's buying it. If you're a maker and a tinkerer, you might want to think about building something yourself. You're going to put a little more money in it, but you'll have more games, and it could be higher quality. If you've never tinkered around with arcade machines or Raspberry Pis or anything like that, this might be something of interest to you. You take it out of the box, put it together, plug it in, and you're up and running. So it really depends on who's asking. It could be worth $300 to somebody, but to you, if you already have a Raspberry Pi and a bar top arcade machine, it might not be worth $300. Another thing I want to go over real quick is adding more games. Now there's no way to do it yet, and in the future I'm not sure if there's gonna be a way. There's not much memory left on this system, so we wouldn't be able to add many games, but it is easily moddable. Keep an eye on the channel because I do have some videos coming up. I want to add a Pandora's box in here with about 2,000 games. After I'm done with that project, I'll show you how to throw a Raspberry Pi 3 in here. Really appreciate you guys watching. If you could, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and like always, thanks for watching.